Hello, I'm Lana Wolf. I'd like to talk to you about healing really by loving ourselves. Um, when I first had my spiritual awakening, I felt this deep, I'd say desire, but it was a need to make space within my body to hold. At that time, I saw it as light. It is light, but what light is love. And I really had to learn how to love myself and work on healing my heart. And is the ultimate healing is healing our heart and loving ourselves. And so for the first year, I did intense shadow work. I did not know what that was called at the time, but there's the obvious things that have happened to you that, they're always in your mind. And so I started with the big things, really obvious, and I was relentless. I dug around, I used a scalpel, I blood and guts. And I'd poke here, poke there. Oh, that hurt. Poke some more. Oh, dig it open. And I did that for a year, and it was intense. But I had this great need to really heal myself, love myself, and make more room for love. And I realized that I would never be able to really love anyone else until I could love myself, but I would also never be able to heal on any level until it was okay to heal myself. And that was really hard for me because I didn't think that I was worth healing. So once I got past that and started digging, um, worked through a lot of stuff. It was hard and it was beautiful, very exciting year. I mean, I have to say, I love shadow work. Uh, I used to get excited, like a little thing would pop up, and I go, "Oop, here we go." So but after a year, I got to take a year off. Not so many triggers, areas for that were so obvious, and really got to enjoy just learning some stuff and growing and having some peace, to be honest. Um, but last week, I had an opportunity to work on some more shadow work. Um, so a little thing came up with my fiance and I. Not that he intended that, but for about 3 days, I was very uncomfortable, didn't understand, didn't recognize it, to be honest. And it was burning back here in the back of my brain, like a program running back there. And it took me a couple days, and one day I was sitting outside listening to the birds, and I knew what the source was. That was easy. But I realized the thing that I was feeling was shame. And it surprised me. It kind of encompassed, it wasn't just one incident, and probably all these incidents were tied together. But I realized it was shame. And so I just naturally started doing what I had done before, and I was digging around and poking and, waiting to start crying at any second and, get my journal out and, all the angst and, pain, work through that. And as I was working, getting ready to start cutting with the scalpel, I realized I don't think I have to do that. I don't think that's the way I have to do it. And so I said, okay, what is this? And I just went to the end. And the end where I saw the pieces of me. I saw the faces of the child, the woman that I had been in these moments, um, and just felt this big love for that face of these different versions of me. And I just knew they had done the best that they could do in that moment with what they had. And really, they were trying to protect me. And I just felt this big love. And so I looked at all these faces and versions of me and loved them and thanked them for what they had done. And then asked that they forgive me because I had quarantined them in areas of my body because I was ashamed of them. And I asked them to forgive me for doing that. And then asked them to come home and brought them back in and just kind of settled with that. And there was this freedom. I don't know of a better word to describe that, but there was this freedom that was very quiet, very peaceful, and so stable, so steady. And we just kind of sat there together and we're all getting along. But it was a beautifully easy, graceful healing. And it was fast. I mean, I kind of lost track of time. That's not my thing. But maybe it was 10 minutes. Now, that doesn't count the days ahead of that where I was like working on the stuff in the back of my head. But it was so graceful. And I think that the energy that we have right now in the world is very supportive of healing, of releasing things. It is supporting that desire that we have to become one. And so it really makes it easier. It wasn't fighting anything. The resistance was much lower. And so I just encourage you to like play with that. Play with that. If you have a thing that maybe you've been avoiding, because it can be painful to go back through these moments, and maybe we think that it'll be more painful than it really is. And right now, the energy does support us loving ourselves in a much easier and much graceful way. So play around with it and just remember, see that face of who you were. Love that you in that moment. Don't look at that version of you through your eyes of who you are today, knowing the consequences or with what you know today, because you didn't know that then. So take that filter off and just recognize who you were in that moment and love that version of you at that time with what they had. And just know we all are doing the best that we can with what we have in this moment at all times. So I hope that's helpful, and I'll talk to you next time. Thank you.